Hey guys, and welcome back to Let's Play EarthBound. So last time we defeated Mr. Carpainter and freed Happy Village from, well, the happiest cult. I'm not sure if they're gonna change the name or just leave it Happy. You know, I guess that'll be up to them, so. Anyway, all we've got left to do is we picked up the key to the cabin, of course. So now we're gonna have to go back and free Paula, and she should join us on our adventure. Now, of course, the easy way to get to Paula is to go to this little cave up here like we did before, but I'm gonna show a slightly different, entirely unintentional way of getting there. So we're gonna go back out here to Peaceful Rest Valley real quick. And you can see we're up here on the cliff, just to the left of the cabin over here. So there's a way we can actually glitch through this cliff. It kind of has to do with the detection on what's passable and impassable. This little section of the cliff right here has two unpassable squares on either side of a passable square, as well as an impassable square right above it. I'm going to try to do some sort of graphic to sort of display what I'm talking about. But basically what we're going to try to do is push our way through that unpassable square right above and kind of get pushed out to the right. It's a little bit tricky to explain, but hopefully once you see it in action, you'll kind of figure things out. So we just kind of have to go at this at the correct angle, and it's very, very tricky to do. It kind of relies on just exact positioning, like, you know, sub-pixel perfection or whatever you want to call it. You can kind of see me just very occasionally kind of moving up a little bit. That means that I'm in the square, but the problem is I don't need to be in this square. I need to be pushed through it. So I'm gonna have to just keep trying this a little bit, and it may take a while because this is very tricky. It can be easier if you have a skip sandwich to make your movement speed faster. Oh man, that was actually really close. But yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and keep trying this. Hopefully it won't take too long, but of course, you know, we got editing for you, so lucky you, I guess. Oh, there we go. Man, I got it. Okay, that was actually pretty quick. It didn't take me too long. But you could tell I kind of got pushed out there a little bit, and you're able to just walk right by since you're able to walk on the space right next to it. So, you know, it's not like it's really that necessary, but I guess it could save you, like, the first time through having to go through the Happy Village to get to the cabin. You know, not like it really saves a whole bunch of time, but it's just kind of a neat little thing, so. Here we are back in the cabin. You can see Paula's still locked up. Thankfully this time though we have the key to the cabin, so let's go ahead and use it. And there we go, the door is open. Yeah, so Paula's going to explain that she's actually able to use psychic power that's actually pretty deadly. Of course, since Ness is our big, strong physical attacker, Paula is actually really good with magic attacks. So that's what she's going to be used primarily for. So now Paula has joined our party, and we have our first permanent party member. This is not an NPC. This is actually one that we do have control of. However, as we look at her stats, you can see this is one of those games. They start the new party members out at level 1. So we're going to have to build them up from scratch, which means she's going to be basically useless and extremely fragile for a while. But once she starts gaining some levels here and there, we'll be able to make pretty good use of her. She also comes with a few items. She comes with a bread roll, which is not that great, but for her HP, maybe. And she also comes with a teddy bear. So, of course, we've seen one of those before. They'll take some hits for you. So it's nice that that's going to be tagging along now. And also, as soon as we walk out, we're going to have another photographer spot here. Okay, and now we are free to go. Unfortunately, we can't glitch ourselves back onto that cliff, so we're going to have to go back out the long way. Fortunately, it's not really that long, and we'll also get another good look at Happy Village. I believe it's changed even more since we've been out and done this. As we go back, you can see all the buildings are actually back to their normal colors. So in that brief span, they managed to repaint every single building in the place. It's pretty cool. And of course, the food stand over here is actually going out of business due to personal reasons, I guess. Probably because we beat the guy up. I don't know if he was running it or what, but we can talk to this lady over here. It's talking about the Lilliput Steps. I think we've heard that mentioned before, but that's actually where we're going to be heading next. So, of course, Paula did mention that we do need to get back to Tucson, but they kind of just cleverly hide this little cave over here. I'm not sure who would tell you about it if you didn't go, but we can talk to this guy. Yeah, he's very curious about the place that lies ahead, and he mentioned before this was a mysterious and anti-blue place. Before we go, though, my health is actually not completely at max, so I'm going to stop by the lodge over here. Okay, so we're all healed up and ready to go. It's also worth mentioning that once you defeat Carpenter, you can stay at that lodge for free and get a full heal, so definitely worth picking up if you need it. So now let's head into this cave, and this is actually the second sanctuary cave. Of course, as I mentioned before, Paula is a little bit weak, quite a bit fragile. Thankfully, we do have the teddy bear along, but we're going to be spending a little bit of time leveling her up. Let's go ahead and fight this first enemy. These are the guys we're going to be primarily fighting. These are the moles playing rough. I love that name. It's really creative. I like it a lot. So we can go ahead and just bash this thing with Paula. I don't think, yeah, she starts with PSI Freeze at level 1, which is a pretty good spell, but the problem is if she gets hit by just about anything at this point, she's probably going to go down. So let's go ahead and defend here. I actually just realized I forgot to go back and buy some equipment for her at the drugstore, so I'm going to go ahead and do that after this fight. But she's going to gain probably a few levels here, since the experience will be more than enough to bump her over, yeah. It's also worth mentioning experience is being split now. So we do only gain 200 each. So let's go ahead and get her level ups out of the way. There's going to be quite a lot of stat increases, mostly minor stuff. Every 4th level is usually good. She also realized PSI Fire there. So here's level 4. We should get some decent things here. Maybe not. Yeah, those were all right. I think you kind of get like okay stat gains, at least for a while, until you hit a certain level. I think you're more likely to get HP ups maybe when you're at a lower level. I'm not entirely sure on that, but anyway, let's go back up now to the drugstore and actually buy some stuff for her. And we're probably gonna have to withdraw some money to do so. Got $1,700 in the bank, so just, a few hundred, that'll take care of it. Alright, so let's see what we want to get. First things first, we've already got the Sandlot Bat. We do want the Fry Pan, which is a new weapon for her. And thankfully, this also does open up a completely new inventory. So we can actually move some stuff around and maybe get a little bit of breathing room in that regard. So we can get that. We can also get the Copper Bracelet for her, which is definitely a huge stat increase. 3 to 13. And there's also one other thing. We can buy the ribbon, which is specific to Paula. You definitely want to buy this because, as you'll see, the stat increase is pretty large. From 13 to 33, you get an extra 20 defense from that. So that's going to help out a whole lot in helping her survive. Alright, so let's get back in the cave and explore it a little bit further. We're not going to go too far beyond the entrance because otherwise enemies start getting a little tougher. Yeah, so there's the pretty big attack from the mole playing rough. It has the ability to scratch with its sharp claws, which deals quite a lot. It also has just a regular scratch with claws attack that is a little bit less powerful. But, still, if it hits Paula, pretty much anything is pretty powerful. So Ness got a level up there, not quite what I was expecting. Good offense boost there. Got a vitality boost, so we'll get a lot of HP as well. And we also learned PSI Flash Alpha, alright? So here's Paula's level. She's probably going to gain a couple more. And PSI Shield Alpha, nice. So yeah, we're learning a lot of new spells here, which we're going to demo eventually, but, some of them, like PSI Shield, maybe not for a little while, but it will get used at some point. Let's go ahead and check out a couple things. First, Ness did learn Flash there, so it generates a strong flash and can make the enemy cry uncontrollably. In some circumstances feel strange. PSI Flash Alpha is not really that useful. It has a pretty high chance of causing the crying status, and a somewhat lower chance of the strange status, so not really super useful. You won't be seeing that for a while at least. Let's go ahead and also check out Paula's stuff. PSI Fire damages a row of enemies, and the way magic works in this game is it deals a fixed amount, which is modified by the enemy's resistance. It deals 80 points of damage just, at its base level, and then if they have like 50% resistance, for example, that number will get brought down. And of course, Freeze is the single targeting. It deals 180 at its base level. It also has a chance to solidify the enemy to keep them from moving for that turn. Of course, a lot of enemies do have quite a bit of resistance to it, so it kind of balances out its power a little bit. And she also got PSI Shield Alpha, which is basically the lesser single targeting version of the PSI Shield Buzz had at the beginning of the game. It'll block an enemy's PSI attack, so it's worth having along, but, we don't have a lot of enemies at this point that do PSI attacks, so not a lot of use yet. Alright, so before I go off screen for a bit to level up Paula, we're going to head down to this section over here. Of course, lots of enemies on the way. And there's actually just one treasure we want to pick up in this little area. Here's a new enemy. This is a recurring one throughout the Mother series. Let's go ahead and fight them. Looks like the two are going to group up, but that's fine. They're not too tough. This is the Mr. Batty. These guys aren't too much to worry about. They've got pretty low HP. One bash from Ness should be able to finish them off. They have the ability to size up the situation, and it makes themselves feel strange. They also have another attack, which is becoming friendly and affectionate, which will cause you to be solidified for one turn. Yep, there goes the teddy bear, so too bad, but, you know, it's gonna happen. They also dodge every now and then. They've got a pretty decent speed. Yeah, see, there was it being friendly and affectionate. Unfortunately, solidified Ness, so it kind of wastes his turn a bit. But as you can see, they're not really doing any damage to us. They're just kind of... Okay, yeah, see, there's 8, but it's nothing to worry about. So the first one's down, and then we can just take out the second with some bashes here. Yep, and he was able to hit himself as well. That's nice. And that should be some decent experience as well. Yeah, just slightly more than the mole playing rough. Got some pretty nice gains there. And PSI Thunder Alpha. So it's pretty much scripted that she's going to be learning these attack spells pretty quickly. Let's go ahead and check out Thunder Alpha, and we'll see its description. There we go. The enemy is thunderstruck. It does 120 points of damage. The way this works is, I think Thunder Alpha shoots off 2 thunder beams. It's a lot like Carpenter's Crashing Boom Bang attack. It basically, the probability of it hitting someone is divide the number of enemies there are by 4. So if there's only one enemy around, it's only got a 25% chance of hitting. It also does have the upside of eliminating a psychic or psychic power shield. I think they meant physical or psychic power shield, but it will eliminate shields if it hits, so that is a pretty nice little secondary feature. Alright, so we should be getting close to the gift box I was wanting to pick up. It's this one right here. You open this present and we get a great charm. It's not super nice. You know, it's not a huge stat boost, but oh yeah, I also forgot. This is another thing that's a little bit annoying. If you want a character to equip something, you have to actually give it to them in their inventory first before they can equip it. So it's like an added step that just adds, you know, a little more time to the process. So as you can see, it only gives us a little bit of increase in defense, but it also, I believe, increases your speed by a certain amount. We may be able to check that out in our description here. And also protects you from paralysis attacks and adds a bit of speed. It's not really told what the number is, but I think it's like 5 or 6. So Paula at this point is pretty fast. Her speed is already at 14, even though she's somewhat low level compared to, of course, Ness's 9. But yeah, so she's going to be going before Ness pretty much all the time. That's quite a few enemies. Let's just take care of them here. Did we get both? Oh, we did. And we actually didn't get both, but, you know, fighting one Mr. Batty probably isn't worth it, so... At this point, I'm going to level Paula up just a little bit more. She's got up to level 9, which is pretty quick when you think about it. But I want to get her to at least 11, because that's when she's going to learn the second level of one of her attack spells. So I'm going to spend a bit of time just fighting some enemies around here, and then we'll meet back once we've reached the appropriate level. So we got a couple Mr. Baddies here. We're about done with the leveling process. I fought a few battles in between. I figured this would be an okay chance. Paula's getting a little bit stronger, a little bit low on health, but she can probably survive some hits if she gets attacked. So let's go ahead and take this opportunity to show off PSI Fire. This will attack a row. There can be either the front row or the back row. Thankfully, they are in the same row here, so this will hit both of them. Yes, there you go. Deals moderate damage. You know, it's pretty good. It'll do enough that Ness will be able to take him down with one more shot. Okay, so now Paula has reached level 11. I'm also went ahead and healed up. At level 11, Paula learns PSI Freeze Beta, which you can see is a more powerful version of PSI Freeze. At its base level, it inflicts 360 points of damage. That's really good. It's going to be super helpful against a certain type of enemy we may encounter here. That'll take pretty much anything out in one shot in this little cave. Okay, so now let's continue forward. Got another one of these little guys. Okay, so quickly here, we're going to get a couple different ways we can go. I think one... Oh, man. Another one, really? So as I was saying, I think one of these leads to an item. Yeah, this one here. We might as well pick it up. I don't think it's anything too useful. It's a croissant. It's a decent recovery item. It's about 60 HP. I'm not even going to look at its description. Wow, that one guy keeps respawning right there. So to continue along in the cave, we're going to have to make our way down here. Man, 3 Mr. Baddies. They're spreading out, too. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to show this battle because there's 3 of them. If you remember, I said PSI Thunder has the probability of number of enemies divided by 4. So this will give us a 75% chance to hit someone here. So we might as well go ahead and show off PSI Thunder. It's actually pretty cheap in terms of its PP cost, only 3. So we can do this a pretty big number of times. So let's go ahead and try it, and we'll see if we can hit someone with it here. A couple of them feeling strange. Yeah, it looks like we got the middle one. And okay, it only shoots off 1 beam. The more advanced levels of Thunder will actually strike multiple times. So unfortunately, the first level's only 1, but you know, it's still good. You can see it did a lot of damage. The problem with it really, though, is its very sporadic hit rate. So I don't find a whole lot of use for it, but it can be nice if you're in a situation where, especially if you don't need to spend a lot of PP, you know, because you're about to run out. You can get some pretty cheap damage in that way if you get lucky. Alright, so this fork doesn't really matter. Alright, this guy is the guy that I wanted to learn PSI Freeze for, so let's go ahead and take him on. Thankfully, there's no other enemies around. You can probably tell just by looking at him, he's got quite a lot of power on him. He can do a ton of damage if, you know, if he gets lucky and gets maybe a smash hit even. That would be really bad, so... One way we can take these guys out in one turn is to use a combination of Freeze Alpha and Bash, or Freeze Beta will take him out with just 1 hit if he's there with other enemies. It's also worth mentioning its speed is about the same as Ness's, maybe a little bit lower, so we should be able to go first, assuming we didn't get really unlucky with the random dice roll. So there's about 110 damage. It also solidified, so even if it did get a turn, which it didn't, we were able to take it down. Even if it did get a turn, it wouldn't be able to do anything. So usually I just kind of avoid the Mighty Bears whenever I can, because the experience they give isn't really any better than any other enemy around, and if they hit you, they can do some real damage. They're also really slow to get to you, which is pretty nice as well. So let's get out of here before that bear can do anything. There's another one there. If I could, actually, the magic butterfly's probably gone, so I'm not going to worry about making my way up there. Unfortunately, I don't know if we're going to get him in this battle or not. Yeah, we did. Alright, so in this kind of situation, it's a good idea not to leave him alive for a turn, and since Paula's pretty much always going to go first, I'll have Ness focus on this guy, and then we'll use our PSI Freeze Beta in order to take this guy out with 1 hit. So you can see it's very similar, except it does a lot more damage, also has a slightly bigger animation, and now we can just go ahead and take this guy down with 1 more hit, and that ends that battle. Wow, that's probably about as least amount of gain as you can get. 1 HP and 1 PP for a level. Okay, so we should be getting somewhat close to the end, just a couple more turns. This path here, I believe they both lead to the exit, so you can pretty much just choose the one with the least amount of enemies on it. I'm actually going to take this opportunity to heal Ness. He's not super low, but, you know, just in case he gets hit by a sharp nail attack or by a Mighty Bear. Prefer him to be at full health. Okay, we can get away, but let's just fight him. It doesn't really matter. Okay, he actually managed to hit Paula there. It took her down pretty low, so let's go ahead and fix that right up. It's actually not going to matter that much because this next boss is super, super easy if you know the right way to do it. So, of course, this is the second near Sanctuary location, and this is the second Guardian, so we're going to have to fight this guy. Now, this is the Mondo Mole. It's very arguably the easiest boss fight in the entire game because he has a 100% weakness to Paralysis Alpha. So we can do that. I guess we can just defend with Paula just in case, yeah, he goes first, but he used the PSI shield, so that's fine. So now Mondo Mole's body is numb. At this point, he can do absolutely nothing. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to win with auto fight. And there we go. That's it. Auto fight just won us the battle. He does have the ability to use Life Up Alpha, which can extend things, but he literally has nothing that can hurt you once you paralyze him, so this is an incredibly easy fight. Alright, so pretty good stat gains. Oh man, nice 8 PP gain. That's really good. Ooh, we also got Life Up Beta. Nice. It's not really that useful at this point, but we'll check that out in the status menu once we get out of this little battle here. She gained a couple levels. And PSI Magnet Alpha. That's also a pretty good one to have. Alright, so the way forward is clear. Let's go ahead and check out the Life Up Beta that we just learned. You can see Life Up Alpha restores about 100, Life Up Beta restores about 300 to one person. So if it's not super useful right now because no one has near that much HP, but it's good to have, of course. Let's also go ahead and check out Paula. We have run across PSI Magnet before. Grabs anywhere from 2 to 8 points of PP. It's likely to be around 5. And adds it to your own, so it also doesn't cost any. So this is a nice way, if you come across an enemy with psychic points, you can go ahead and kind of steal that for yourself. Alright, so out here, these are the Lilliput steps. Let's go ahead and check them out. And we had a vision of a baby in a red cap. I wonder who that could be. Okay, so that's our second melody. If you remember kind of how the first one sounded, it's basically a continuation. These are all going to make one big song at the end, but, kind of spread apart like that, it's really hard to tell what the overall song sounds like. And of course, now since we have beaten the Sanctuary boss, all the enemies will run away, making it a very easy shot to the end. This is a PSI Caramel. It's the first recovery item we've got that will actually restore our PP. Blemishes 20, in fact, so it's actually not bad. That's the equivalent of 4 life ups, so really this is way better than any other food item. There's a lot of guys down there. I don't know I'd be able to avoid them, so let's just go ahead and take the kind of slightly longer way back. It's like, please don't move. Okay, so we've now exited the cave, and our next objective, as Paula mentioned when we rescued her, we probably need to be getting back to Tucson Village. People are worried about her, and that's also how we're going to get to the next town we need to go to. So unfortunately, this does mean we have to walk all the way back across Peaceful Rest Valley. I'm not sure how much of that I'm going to show, but instead of sitting there and worrying about it, let's just kind of get going. Most of it's exactly the same. There aren't any new enemies or anything. Having Paula along can help because she can use some of her PSI abilities. You'll get a little extra damage in. But, for the most part, it's just the same, but in reverse. Alright, this is like a decent place to come back in. We're back actually at the first bridge, very near to the entrance to Tucson. This is the bridge that was actually out before, but you can see there's a guy on it now. He says that he fixed the bridge as a sign of an apology, just trying to help. Well, you sure did. Saves a little bit of time having to go all the way around. So, I guess we can go ahead and take advantage of this. I don't think anyone's that low. Yeah, just Ness needs healing. Alright, see if I can actually... It doesn't really matter, enemies go down super fast. PSI Freeze will kill just about anything in this area in one hit, and it only costs 4 PP to use, so really you can finish just about any battle in one turn. It's not too big of a deal. Alright, so once we get through this cave, we will be back in Tucson, where we got to do a couple more things. If you remember, the passageway to 3 was actually blocked. You usually take a bus to get there, but there are, for some reason, ghosts in the tunnel. So we're going to have to figure out how to get around that before we're able to actually make our way there. I'm just trying to not... Oh man, really? They're just like switching around at this point. Come on, like... Alright, there we go, finally. We can pretty easily... Man, there's a lot of mushrooms and we can avoid all of these. Basically, I just don't want to have to take the time to go get mushroomization healed. So, it's easy to avoid. I mean, you could take them out really quickly, but they could just get that one attack off and be inconvenient. Okay, so first things first, let's go ahead and actually, this is not the way I want to go. We want to go to the Polestar Preschool. Of course, since we rescued Paula, we should probably take her back to see her parents and, everyone around here. And also, the music here has changed. It no longer has that kind of eerie sounding music. It's just kind of the home music at this point, so that's nice. she's actually going to give us a new item, the handmade band-aid, that she's going to very cleverly call a hand-aid. And of course, he suspected Everdread. Well, to be fair, you're probably safe in doing so. He's not the most reputable guy around. So yeah, we picked up the hand-aid, which is actually really nice. We can go ahead and check out its description. It heals your wounded body. Gone after one use. It doesn't really say much, but I believe the hand-aid actually restores you to full HP. So, I don't know. Maybe that's worth hanging on till like the very end of the game when we have much more max HP. But either way, it's good to have around. We can also head in here. Dad isn't in here, but he'll come in through the door here. Well, isn't that kind of sweet? So, yeah, he's, okay, did he usually follow us around? I don't remember him doing that. Maybe it looks like he does. I don't know, it's weird. Okay, yeah, at this point, then he starts walking away. I've never seen him actually follow me around before. That was interesting. Anyway, through that discussion, Paul, of course, mentioned that we're going to meet our next friend in Threed. So that is very obviously our next objective. Also got a guy meeting us on the way out here. It says Everdread's looking for us. He's got something, all right? Of course, he did mention after we fought him that once we rescued Paulo, we need to come back. So that's probably going to be our first order of business. There's not too much more to do around here, but we do, of course, need to figure out some way around that ghost in the tunnel problem we've got. Alright, so here's Everdread in his house. Not bad. I kind of like this purple color scheme, painting the walls like that. It's pretty interesting. So, yeah, well, unfortunately, yeah, we can't really be your partner. That's a little unscrupulous. Actually, I can't keep the money anyway. Let me give this to you. Alright, sure. $10,000! Holy crap. So he's also mentions here he's going to plan on looking for the Mani Mani statue that Liar Exaggerate unearthed. Remember, we did actually see him dig that up earlier, and we, of course, that's what Carpainter was being influenced by. So he's going to give us the wad of bills. Paula got it, since Nessa's inventory is full. Unfortunately, it's not like actually $10,000 if we look at our little money count over there on the left. We still only have a few hundred, so it's not usable money in that sense, but we will be using it for something, of course. Okay, so as we head up, we're going to be kind of visiting an area that we didn't really check out the first time because there's not a lot to do here. This is the Chaos Theater. You can see we've got a couple of these guys. These are actually two of the band members that are going to be playing here. We'll, of course, be seeing more of them here in just a little bit. So we gotta talk to his bandmate. I guess we can do that. So of course he recognizes Paula. It turns out, you know, once you kind of learn their story, they've been in this town for a while. So he's gonna give us a present, a backstage pass, and we'll be able to get into their shows with it. So cool, we pick that up and we will definitely be using that. Oh, got a photo first though. Okay, sweet. So now that that's out of the way, of course, we need to see the show. I guess we could stand in line here if we want. I can't do the idle walking animation like that guy. I wish I could though. But before we actually go check out the Chaos Theater... Oh, we got another cranky lady here. Let's fight her. Alright, always gotta fight them when you see them. I'm gonna stop by the hospital here real quick. There's one specific guy I'm looking for, so let's see if we can find him. I actually don't remember off the top of my head exactly where he is, but, you know, check every room. It's not like there's a whole lot here. I'm gonna talk to the doctor here. Alright, well, you look kind of like a nurse, so why are you getting a shot here? I don't know. No, we don't need any examination. We're good. Alright, so let's check upstairs. My guess is he's going to be in one of these rooms. So let's just try them all. Why not? Oh, well, he got bit by zombies in Threed. Are you sure, like, we should be in the same room as you? He says he left something good at the Threed Hospital, but now he can't go get it. So, that's just something to keep in mind. He left something good in there, so once we reach Threed, we'll have to check out the hospital. That's the guy I was looking for. So we don't need to check any further. Let's just go ahead and head back out. Okay, so I think this actually looks like a pretty good place to stop for now. We have rescued Paula. She's become a pretty important part of our team already. Super strong PSI attacks. Gotta love it. And we've received a pack stage pass, and we need to be figuring out how to get to 3. So I think we'll take care of that next time. Until then, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you then.